Blackmagic Design, creating revolutionary solutions for film, post-production, and television.
Hi everyone, I'm Indiana, this is Haley. We're from Cinematography for Actors covering for No Film School here at NAB, and we are upstairs in the very VIP lounge of Maxon. And I am joined by fellow Canadian Chief Product Officer Steve Hogue, who is here at Maxon with us and is going to talk all about what you guys are up to this year, what's new.
We have a lot new at this show that we're really excited about. Last week we have a brand new release of most of our major products. In particular, we've got Cinema coming out with a brand new particle engine. This is about bringing some really high-end features out to a wider audience. In Redshift, we've got some exciting new tune looks. And in Red Giant, a brand new set of tools for helping 2D artists get started in 3D. And happy to go into any of those in more detail.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so Cinema 4D obviously is like the leading piece of software in the market for how people can previs and design. Can you talk more about what that means for filmmakers?
Yeah, so a lot of the new tools that we're introducing in Cinema are all about just adding extra life to your scene.
Okay.
So there's nothing worse than when you're creating a scene and it just feels dull, static, and lifeless. And so particles really are about just bringing that extra sense of magic and aliveness to a scene. It's a great way of adding those motion graphics that help everything feel like they're really just a living, breathing scene.
Okay, and so for someone who's trying to dive into Cinema 4D because they know it's going to make them better at their own job, I know you guys have a lot of educational resources. Can you point to where people can look for resources that they can dive into this wonderful software?
Yeah, Cineversity is our online learning platform, and we've got an extensive set of learning material for getting started from really any stage, from the beginner to the seasoned motion graphics artist. In addition, we're producing film content for training every day on YouTube out on our channel. So we've got many sources for these. Cinema is well known for being the easiest to use entry place for motion graphics, so it's a great place for someone looking to get started in any of this. And these new particles and everything else that we're looking at are really aimed at being much more approachable than anything else out there.
Cool. So as a chief product officer, when you're looking at kind of the new iteration of something, is it because you're getting a lot of feedback from people, or is it more that you're like, I'm seeing that we're headed into AI territory now or virtual production? What are the thought processes that lead you to designing or developing something new?
The place that we start with any of these is always talking to the artists, our customers. So as we've been developing particles, as we've been developing the tune shading, this is all about asking our community what is most important for them and developing it. As we look at things like AI, it is just a tool, but at the end of the day, it's about helping the artists get what they need done. And so we're always rooted in what they need.
Where do you... Yeah, sorry, Haley, go ahead.
Sorry, I just have so many questions as an actor who I don't even know what we're talking about right now. What is a particle?
Yeah, so particles are anything that can be little droplets, emitters that come out of objects that can make things feel a lot more alive. So if you're having a fire and sparks are coming out of it, those are particles. If you're having rain come down, those are particles. And so this is really just a way of adding all these little pieces of dynamism to your scene.
So you're generating those.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
And I think actually this is a really great point that Haley's bringing up, is for anyone who isn't familiar with Maxon, can you talk about what Maxon is as a company and the basics of each program? So if someone was just getting into film, watching this interview, they found this on YouTube, they want to dive in, what each one fills the role of?
Yeah, absolutely. So Maxon's a creative company, and we've got products that span the whole gamut of the creative workflow for trying to create just a really complete package for artists. At the beginning, we've got Cinema 4D, which is all about modeling, motion graphics, and creating simulations, things like that we've been talking about. We've got ZBrush, which is for sculpting, and so it's kind of like playing with digital clay, and so it's really intuitive for sculpting different objects. On the rendering side, we've then got Redshift, which is one of the fastest GPU-accelerated renderers on the market, and so this is about that final output, making it look photorealistic. It's been leading the industry in that for many years, and now adding in the ability to do tune looks and non-photorealistic rendering as well. We've got Forger on the mobile side, and so it's a great way of playing with it on your iPad. And then the Red Giant set of tools, which are all about visual effects and integration with many video editors.
What would you suggest for someone like me, completely new to even the idea of this, but interested to find out, what these tools are, what the implications are for them, not the implications, the applications are for these type of things in like smaller content creation. Where do you think someone should start?
If you've got any background in producing video in a number of other tools, one of the best places to start is our Red Giant set of tools. So this integrates into a lot of video editing. And if you're not familiar with all the 3D content, it's a great place to start for just adding a little extra spark to your video. So this includes tools for adding things like lens flares and really intuitive things like that, all within your video editor.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
I think that's perfect. Yeah. Thank you so much. Let's head down to the main booth. I mean, VIP is so fun, isn't it? But let's head down to the main booth and explore some of what you have on offer. And so we have Ellie here. Hi, Ellie. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. And we were just talking about London because Haley used to live there and I
did used to live there.
It's fun to just chit-chat a little before we dive into something that we're going to learn a lot about for 4 or 5 minutes. So Ellie, take us into what we want to learn today.
Okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, so this is Cinema 4D, so it's our 3D software package, and yeah, basically my day-to-day life is teaching people how to use this and then getting to play around. So it's actually a pretty fun job, and I get to come here and then talk to you guys about it.
Definitely.
So yeah, I mean, I'm just kind of playing around at the moment with like simulation things. So this is what I like to do, like a little bit of like the old motion design, little motion graphics, and then we can kind of see how it looks inside of Redshift as well. So I've added a little texture to it. So it might take a little second to load.
And talk to us about Redshift. So what that process is like between Cinema 4D and Redshift, like the integration.
Okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, so Redshift is the render engine that's been integrated into Cinema 4D.
Cool.
So yes, we acquired Redshift, and now we have the luxury of having this really like beautiful looking renderer. And so like for me, I started learning it about 2 years ago, and it just makes everything look nice and like pretty, and that's what you want.
Only 2 years ago, and you're
only
creating
2
something
years
so
ago.
like hyper real. This is awesome.
Yes, it's a luxury of being a trainer.
Yeah.
Because then you kind of get like
learning,
thrown in at the deep end.
For sure.
So yeah, I think I like downloaded Redshift, and they were like, "Can you train someone next week?" And I was like, I guess so. And so I was like,
I'm gonna say yes to that.
Yeah, I was like, it's kind of my job, so I kind of have to.
Yeah.
So it was like a case of just like learning it, like really focused for 5 days, and yeah, now these are like the outcomes.
Wow. And what kind of computer do you have to have, or like what are the specs to minimum specs to start with working with a software like
Minimum
this?
specs. Okay, so you need to have like enough RAM.
Yeah.
So this is actually mine. This is my M3 Mac, and yeah, so you got to have a good GPU. So if you're on like a Mac, you know, like M1, M2, M3, like ideally, and then like enough RAM, maybe like minimum like 32. I've got 128, you know, because I'm greedy. So
Wolflines, no.
And I live stream, so it's got to look good, you know, on the stream sometimes.
Definitely.
And then like PC wise, I'm not the best with like PC hardware. But again, like it's your GPU and it's your RAM. Like obviously the RTX cards are like very lovely. We have a render server where we have 24090s, which are very fast.
Okay, great, cool.
Very well known in the industry.
Taking
so if you
your
have
word for
those,
it.
it's very good.
Great.
Yeah.
Cool. What were some of the rules you put in here to creative rules?
Yeah, so I can show you. So when it comes to Redshift, it's like a node-based material system. So that's kind of maybe people say like the scariest thing about it, but it's really not. Like it's just, you just kind of have to decide how kind of technical you want to go. So like
we
these
started over here. Is it starting here, or where does it start?
So weirdly, it kind of like starts with like the output, or that's the way I teach it.
Yeah.
I like to work backwards.
Okay.
And so, like, if we just like create a new material, I can show you what it would normally look like.
Yeah. Well, show us what this is. I want you spent the time to render it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this is what it would normally look like.
Okay. Great. Cool.
So output, normal material, and
Cool.
then we build in like everything else on the left-hand side.
Got it. Okay.
So
cool.
like, if I kick this off, I can kind of break it down like a little bit.
Yeah.
If we open this up. So we have like 2 different materials going on, and they just like blend together using a black and white mask.
Okay.
That's it. That's all that's really happening.
Okay.
So this is the first material.
Yep.
So it's going to take a little sec to kick in. So really nice and simple.
Yeah.
So it's just like we've actually got nothing going into it.
So what is that? What's it adding right now? What's the first material?
So the first material is just like this. It's like a white gloss material.
Gloss.
That's it. Nice and
White.
simple. There's actually nothing going into it. So if I kind of like zoom in here, you can see there's nothing on the inputs. So it's really just like a default kind of basic material.
Oh, cool. So you have like reflection,
So you have
phase,
lots of different,
transmission.
so you have like your color stuff,
And
you
is
have your
transmission
transmission.
like light transmission, or what is transmission?
So transmission is like refraction. So if
Okay.
you want to make like glass and things like that,
Got it.
you can do refraction. You can do subsurface. We can do emission, so we can create like nice like light materials as
Cool,
well.
cool. Okay.
So yeah, really simple, nothing really going on.
Yeah.
And it's the next one that is a little bit more kind of technical. So again, if I just sort of solo this one, you'll see this is where we get like that cool little pattern coming from.
Oh.
So yeah, this is this second one.
The grit.
Yes, kind of the one that's a little bit messy.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. And then again, all that's really happening is three things. So we have like our color. So like these things are controlling the color.
Okay.
So if I just like solo these different noises, so this is the first one,
Yep.
the first pattern. Then this is the second pattern.
Okay.
And then we blend them together using like blending modes, like in
Okay.
Photoshop. So like add, multiply, etc.
Yep.
And then we make this kind of
Cool.
thing. And then we can take a ramp, which I've just applied loads of different colors to.
Yes.
And what it does is it takes those black and white areas and it applies those colors.
Oh, okay, great.
And so then we create what looks like a little like color map
Oh, fun.
or a color texture, and then that controls the base color.
Yeah.
And so that's how we do that.
If you are on your own right now and you're like, I want to create this, and you're creating this exact thing, but you like are thinking of it from scratch, how long does it take you to open the program and create this? You personally?
Me personally?
Yes.
Oh, I did this yesterday in like 30 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, but that's what I like about this kind of stuff is like to create a simulation, especially something like this.
Yeah.
It's really like not that technical. Like
Yeah.
what's going on? Like if we just kind of like cut out of Redshift. So what's going on here is strange looking shape.
Yeah.
That's the technical term for it.
Yes.
Strange looking shape.
Yeah.
And then we have
The
a
SLS.
we have like a vertex map when we find it. Here we go. So we have our vertex map here. And so as the timeline grows, we can see we have like the red and yellow bits change, and they're controlling the inflation. So like ballooning on
So are
simulation.
you like are you like doing a random pattern or a scatter, like a pattern of some sort that is generating this kind of inflation?
Yeah, exactly
Okay,
that.
got
Yeah,
it.
so it's literally a shader field.
Okay.
And so those same noises that we had to create the base color,
Yeah.
you can actually use those to create patterns over the geometry.
Yeah.
And so we have something like this. This is the pattern, but it grows over time.
Ah.
And so like we can have it from here. You can see it's like completely black.
Yeah.
So we have no ballooning, we have no pattern, and then we get to somewhere like here. And then you can see they've grown, and those little like white circles are what's generating the
Yeah.
inflation.
The
and then
bulbousness.
we have this little like map.
Yes.
And then to kind of go back to Redshift,
Yeah.
let's come back in here. This
Cool.
one here, this one. This is then, so we had our two colors, yeah, or our two
Yep,
materials,
yep,
right? Now, if I solo this node, it's going to take that same pattern that's growing, creating the inflation, and that's what's blending between the two materials.
Aw.
Are you deciding exactly where the individual inflation is landing? It's doing that for you.
It's random.
Wait, so it's kind of a surprise. Like you hit the button and you're like, oh wow, it's
This
alive.
is what I like about it. Yeah, I like things to be like random and free. And so I hit the button and I'm like, what's it going to look like? And then you have like options to re-randomize. So you have like seed values, and so you can literally just iterate and click through them. And it's like one button and it will give me a different outcome.
Fun.
So we can see like, obviously not with the final material, but you can kind of get an idea of like how this looks.
It'll
And so
look
that's kind of like the
sick
final.
with the final one.
And then yeah.
Do you have
that's the
any
fun.
of something else you've created that you have a final render of you can show us?
I do actually, yeah.
Oh, yay!
Maybe not on here. I have a real, I mean, it's on my phone. Like I don't know.
Show us. Wow. This is so cool. So sick.
So, yeah,
Well, you
a
can
lot
charge
of-
any rate you want now. Got this reel that
is
shows
a
you can do
great
So
all
very,
of it.
so very heavy, you know, on the old
Yeah.
Adidas, the branding.
Wow, that's so cool.
Whoa.
Thank you so much, Ellie. We really appreciate the time. And
No,
this
my
was like
pleasure.
so sick. And I just think this is a really good way of people like learning about the potential of what they could create. And what's even cooler is we got to see your reel to promote you, but then also see like the amount of things that could actually happen. Which is awesome. So
No,
thank
it's
you so much.
nice to chat to you guys. Yeah.
You as well. Well, we'll see you next time at Maxon. Bye, everyone.
Thanks.
Bye.